Spring 2022. What's San Francisco like now? What up, internet world? It's your boy Jermaine back with another video. So this video, let's just talk about SF. Lately, I sort of said I wasn't gonna make videos talking about the city, but I won't talk about sort of the crime and stuff like that. I'll keep it with what's been going on the streets. All right. So lately, what I'm starting to notice is, since we dropped the whole mask mandate, right after we dropped the mask mandate, I quickly noticed lots more people in the city, right? It was like just a couple days after that, the weekend, I was like, wow, it's like busy. It wasn't like it was before. So it's been a few months now since we've dropped that mask mandate, and what is things like? Well, things are definitely a lot more busier. When I go to shops like, Target or Safeway, there's a lot more people in the store than before because there's no limit. There's no one standing there like counting, You can just sort of go in, right? And, last year it wasn't like that. Last year things were slow. This place was dead. It was a ghost town. This year, you go down the Fisherman's Wharf and you see lots of action, right? But I just wanted to talk about something really fast, and I don't think a lot of people are thinking about this. What has just happened in San Francisco, and also New York is really experiencing a very similar situation. So just recently, I had a friend come visit me from Vegas. Okay, now this friend lives in Vegas, and he tells me that it's busier now in Vegas than before the pandemic, because like so many people moved from California like to Vegas, and he's like just everywhere. Like home values have went up like crazy, and you go to a restaurant, it's busy all the time. You go here, it's busy all the time. You go there, it's busy all the time, right? And that kind of reminded me of San Francisco before the pandemic. It was a very, very busy city, very, very happening place. Lots of events going on. I mean, there's still things going on, but it's not as busy, right? So my friend is telling me all about Vegas, right? Oh, it's busy here and it's busy there, and this place is popping. They just built this new place, and I'm just like, wow, great. So my friend comes over to San Francisco, and he hasn't been to San Francisco in a couple years. It was definitely before the pandemic. This friend tells me that as soon as he, entered the airport, he notices that it is dead. And it was like 8:50 in the morning or something like that. I think his plane landed, and he was like, the airport was like dead. And then he requested Uber, got downtown really, really quick, and he was like, there was definitely wasn't traffic like he once remembered, especially around 9 a.m. And then he got to Fisherman's Wharf, and he was like, wow, there's definitely people walking around. And then he started to notice all the closures, right? Because there are a lot of closures in Fisherman's Wharf, okay? And then he goes over to Union Square, and he's like, wow, Union Square looks rough, man. I remember this place like, jumping. This place was like busy. This place was popping, right? Union Square, there was vacancies all throughout Union Square. Earlier today, I just made a delivery in Union Square, and I was just walking through, and I was like, wow, look at all of these vacancies, right? And you go around the city, you go around the parts of the financial district in the middle of the daytime, and it's dead. My homie was like, bro, what happened? Like, what happened? He's like, look, dude, we're right here in like, California, and I think it was like California and Kearney. And he's like, yo, I can like see like down the street, like there's not even any cars. Like what's going on? And I'm like, well, this is just kind of how it's been, This is just kind of how it is, right? And homie was just so surprised, and I think that there is something big that just happened. All these people that just moved and just left, right? They didn't just move. They moved and they took their money with them, right? So instead of all those people running around San Francisco, spending money, going to the restaurant, going to the shops here, a lot of our places have closed, right? And people have just moved to other places, and other places are kind of thriving. I was talking to a friend in Nashville, and he was telling me, man, it, it's just crazy. It's just raging all the time. Just more people moved in, and like there's more jobs, and there's more opportunities. Well, this friend told me this about a year ago. I don't know about jobs now. I think things are getting rough like all over the place. I mean, there's still jobs out there, but it's not like not like it was a couple of years ago. Before the pandemic. Because now things are taking a different turn. One very, very important thing to think about: the longer that workers work from home, it's going to be harder and harder to get them to go back to the office. And I really believe workers are just not going to go back to the office. I think they're just going to keep extending it and keep extending it. And I think some companies don't want the workers to come to the office. Let's say you're a company and you're renting a building in the financial district. Well, if it's like a Class A building, the rent's going to be crazy expensive, and you need to be in a fancy building, right? And you need to have all your employees there because that's just part of the whole deal, and you take up 4 floors. But guess what? If a large percent of your employees are now working from home, you can downsize, right? You can, instead of 4 floors, you can have like a half a floor, right? Or 1 floor. And you can save so much money, and then your employees will just be happy anyway because they don't want to come to work. And then there's also another reason why employees don't want to go back to work. A lot of tech employees nowadays are working 2 full-time jobs. And you may wonder, how can someone work 2 full-time jobs? Very, very easy. Remember the whole work from home scenario, right? Where you just work from home? Okay, you have one computer here, Apple. You have another computer here, another tech company, right? You do all your Apple stuff on this computer, right? And you make your $100,000 a year at this Apple job. And then you also do your work on this computer for this other company, and then you get paid, your salary for this company too. So if you're a worker, why would you want to go back to the office, right? If you go back to the office, you're going to make less money, right? And I'm not saying that all tech workers are doing this, but I definitely know a few tech workers that are actually doing this, and they love it, because a lot of times you're not working like 40 straight hours on one job. You're working maybe like 3-4 hours a day, and then there's definitely stuff you have to do with in between, like go to meetings and answer calls and respond to emails and stuff like that. But it's very, very flexible, and with 2 jobs, this is just one reason why I don't think people are going to go back to work. And if people are not going back to work, like going back into the office, San Francisco might turn into a weekend type place where like people just come on the weekends and do stuff here on the weekends, and then during the week it's kind of dead, kind of like what it already is now. Okay, kind of like what it already is now. The city is kind of dead during the week, but then if there's a game going on, if there's like some big event going on, you'll definitely notice because you'll see traffic everywhere. But during the week, a lot of times it is kind of like quiet. It's kind of like sleepy, especially in a lot of parts of the financial district. But then on the weekends, all the tourist areas are popping. Hard to find a parking spot anywhere around there. So this is just something to think about. You definitely have a lot of people that just took off and left, but they took off and left with all their money as well. And it's like a lose-lose situation here. And what's going to happen next, right? Because if you don't have if you don't have a lot of tech workers like filling up office buildings, well, it's going to be less jobs out there for in other parts of San Francisco. It's going to be less restaurants. It's going to be less food delivery people. It's going to be less. So it's going to trickle down. And we also have something else that's about to happen that is going to be really big. We have companies that are starting to lay off. Just yesterday, Robinhood announced that they're going to lay off 9% of their workforce. And I think Robinhood is just the start. I think they're just one of the first companies that just come out and announce it. I think there's going to be other companies that are going to announce too, especially companies that are not profitable. A lot of companies, they get this VC money, and when interest rates go up, that VC money starts to dry up. And guess what? Interest rates have been going up. They've been going up. So a lot of these companies we're probably going to start to see some companies like go down. I'm not talking about any big companies, but like some of these like little small companies that are not profitable, you know, we could very well see some apps like disappear. We could very well see some tech companies like slip away in these rough times. But yeah, yo guys, it's getting real out here. Like it really is. It's getting real, and it's getting crazy. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this video up. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks a lot for watching. Peace out, y'all. And if you want to come to San Francisco, yo, I mean, it's chill, you know, weather's great. I like it. Yeah, it's a cool place. Ride your bike. All right, see you guys. Peace out.